Hi, it's Hannes, and it's 3:30 in the morning, and I'm busy with a ritual. And I think this is one of the greatest secrets that I have, and I'm going to share that with you simply because I said to you that I'd like to give you a gift. And I was given a gift many years ago, and I'd like to tell you about this. In 1983, I started working for a big insurance company in 1982. But in 1983, I was becoming a financial advisor and going through the different trainings to eventually become a financial planner. But in 1983, I was giving financial advice to people and see what would happen in the case of death, disability, and basically retirement. And I picked up something. So as I was doing the analysis for these people and gaining the information in order to be able to try to help them, I discovered that 90% of the people that I was dealing with at that stage were making exactly the same mistakes. And I was wondering, how is it possible that people with degrees, people that are learned, people that are wise, people that are old, how is it possible that they kept on doing and making the same mistakes? And I could see that there was two parts to these mistakes. The first was the practical implementation of doing stuff wrong. In other words, like making a lot of debt. And that's obvious. But then there was something else that I started picking up, and that had nothing to do with the physical execution of doing the wrong stuff. And that had to do with the mindsets. But on that specific day in 1983, I saw 3 clients in the evening, and approximately 8:30 that evening, I was on my way home. I saw the last client, and I was going through a process, evaluation process myself. What did I do right? What did I do wrong? What could I improve? And what was the major things that I've picked up basically during the day? And a thought came to me, and it was this thought: why is it and how is it that everyone basically made the same financial mistakes? And how is it possible that no matter how hard I try, I cannot get through to these people? It's almost like there's a shield built around them where they do not want to hear, according to me, the truth. And they protect themselves against this weird stuff that they are busy doing, and they justify why they do it. And to me that was amazing, because I wanted to become rich, and I wanted to become, learn how to make a fortune, and how to be happy, and how to be successful, and stuff like that. But while I was busy doing this, this little voice that interrupted me. I was asking the question, how is it possible that these people, that basically all of them or most of them, were making the same mistakes? And this little voice came to me, and it said to me, it made a statement. And the statement was basically this: Hannes, you are making exactly the same mistakes. And I immediately thought, how on earth is this possible? So I literally started arguing with this little voice in my mind. And if you're asking what voice, that voice, the one that is asking the question, what voice, what is he talking about? That voice. So I started arguing with this voice, trying to justify that I'm not in this situation, that I'm a financial planner, or becoming a financial planner, that I'm a financial advisor, and that I know my stuff, and that I can help other people. And then this voice interrupted me again and said, Hannes, but you are doing exactly the same stuff. You are making the same mistakes. There's nothing there's no difference between what you are doing and what you tell these people not to do, because you do it. And I immediately start arguing again and trying to improve and trying to prove this voice myself that that is not the case. And then this voice came back with an incredible knockout. And it asked me a question. And the question was simply, okay, you're so bloody clever. What are your results? What are your results? And I was floored. This hit me like a sledgehammer. And I remember close to where I stayed, on my way home, there was this little park. And I pulled over and I stopped. And I thought, what has just happened here? Because when I look at my results, I can see that I'm exactly doing what these people are doing, and there's no results. There's no positive results. And if I keep on doing what I'm doing at the moment, I'm going to end up just like the rest. Just like all of these people that I'm trying to tell what not to do, because I'm doing that, I'm going to end up like them. And I thought, shit, but this, how is this possible? How is it possible that I could not see that my mistakes? How is it possible that I can see the mistakes that other people are making? But it's almost like there's in my mind this thing that prohibits me to see the truth, the reality, the consequences of what I'm busy doing. But luckily for me, I asked a question. And the question was simply this: what must I do in order to make sure that I will be successful and rich one day? And luckily for me, the voice answered me. And this is a secret that I'd like to share with you, and I'm going to tell you a little bit more how I'm implementing this in my life, because this is what I'm doing right now. This voice said to me, Hannes, find out what poor people are doing and don't do it. I said, what? The voice said to me, Hannes, find out what poor people are doing and don't do that. It's amazing how we as human beings, how clever we are and how bright we are and how we know everything. But the basics in life, we neglect and we don't pick that up and we don't see it simply because we don't want to see it. We don't want to accept what I call the truth. We do not want to think clearly. We are conditioned by systems to think that what we do is right. And we will justify that basically with our lives. So I went home that night and I said to Tanya, we're going to become extremely rich and I'm going to become very, very successful. And she asked me, how? And I said to her, I told her this little story, and I said to her, Tanya, I'm going to dedicate my life to find out what it is that keeps people poor. And then I'm going to dedicate my life to make sure that I'm not going to do that. And that is where I started with what I call my map. And the map then turned into what I call my roadmap. So my roadmap is basically, once you've got a map, once you identify why I do what I do, then I can start to correct that. But this is a path. So there's a map, and if I know who I am and I know where I am and I know where I want to go to, then I can map the roadmap. In other words, I can follow a step-by-step process in order to get from where I am to where I want to be. And this is basically what I'm busy with each and every morning. And I spend quite some time in just this. So I'd like to take you to my computer and to show you, I call it power morphing because later on I discovered a process whereby the first thing that we need to do, we need to understand ourselves and the mind and the way that it works. And that is basically the map. That's the lay of the land so that we can understand it. But then I discovered there are certain things like what we call resistors. In other words, there's what we call a reticular activated system, and this is like a screen. And there's certain inputs that we're going to get, but this screen, once you've got a program that runs subconsciously, this screen literally makes life very easy for you, but at the same time, that screen is going to protect you, and that's the function of this reticular activated system, is to protect you, to make your life easy for you. But if you've got the wrong program that you're running, you are dead. You will never become successful. And you're going to become your worst enemy, and you're going to sabotage yourself to prove that the program is right. Okay, some people say it's the ego, but it's this program that you're running. And we are running literally thousands of these little programs on a day-to-day basis. There's about 40,000 thoughts that you've got on a day-to-day basis. But most of these thoughts are basically programs that are pre-programmed to give you the same outcome. And this is what I saw way back in 1983 when I was about 26 years old. I could see that because of this, so it's not that they don't want to change, they can't change because they do not become aware that this thing, this reticular activated system, their subconscious mind, is trying to protect themselves not to move forward. Because the moment that you move forward, the moment that you do something that you normally do not do, it's uncomfortable, you're out of your comfort zone. So this thing wants to keep us within our comfort zone. So the first thing that I did was to start to map out the way that I see things. And it's not to say that it's a truth, but at least to me, it's to become aware that what I think is not necessarily the truth. In other words, unless you become aware of that, you're not going to do anything. And then I started a process, I call it power morphing. And in the power morphing, first of all, I wanted to understand my mind, and that's where my map comes from. And then I saw, but there's certain resistors. This is this reticular activated system that I'm talking. Now, those days, I didn't know, and there was no Google and stuff like this. So I had to figure this out, what the heck was going on in my mind and why. And luckily for me, I was a financial advisor, so I could literally see what people were doing, and I could start asking them questions on a practical one-to-one basis, even though I started giving advice in terms of their financial situation. But I wanted to understand what it is that was going on in their minds, and what was that they protect, okay, that would keep them poor. So I discovered that there are certain things, I call it resistors. So unless you can identify a resistor, you can't remove it. And then I went through a process to discover, but how can I remove this? And I discovered that all the resistors that we've got is energy that bottles up. In other words, there's a block of energy flow. Because if we look at us as human beings, we're actually energy, right? And the moment that there's a disruption in this flow of energy, that is causing the problem. But I then identified that all of those disruptions I could identify within myself through feelings and emotions, right? And so it's actually a very simple process to identify these resistors. And then I discovered and formulated a process to remove these resistors. And once that resistor is removed, the energy flow, and you can literally collapse that negative program and replace that with a better program. And then I discovered a process that I call power morphing, and I developed this process simply to reprogram the subconscious mind in order to give me subconsciously what I consciously want. Okay? And that drives the whole process. But it all started with this map. And perhaps let me show you a part of it. I'm going to go to the computer. So if I open my map, this is more or less the stuff that I've discovered. And then I turn that into what I call the roadmap. Now, I've got a course on the roadmap nowadays, And that course is simply, what are the steps that I follow to go from where I am to where I want to be? But I can't start, and you can't start, unless you know yourself, unless you know your map, unless you know how your mind operates and how the system operates. Once you've got that, now I can say, okay, this is where I am because I know who I am. This is where I am. This is where I want to be. And now I can formulate a strategy to get there and start walking this path that I've set out for myself. In other words, unless you've got a map, you can't plot the path. And unless you can measure that path, the milestones, you can't see if you're moving forward or not. And this is what happened with my clients at that stage, because I could see that they didn't know about this. There was no clarity. And it was later, about in 1987, that I formulated the formula for riches. That is a physical as well as I can almost say, a mental way to keep me on track and stick on this path. So this is what I'm trying to show you quickly is my map and portion of my roadmap. And I think personally, this is why I do get the results that I'm getting. And over the next couple of days and maybe months, if you want to, I'm not going to force this on to you, but if I get enough comments, and if there's enough people that would like at least to understand the map, the basics, the way that I'm doing it, your map will look completely different, but I think there's a general, let's call it outlay that we can start to follow, or a program that we can start to follow in order to understand a little bit better why the heck we do what we do. And it's going to be hard work, I can promise you, because this is going to lead to what I've now got as the Wealth Creators University. So if you want to become a wealth creator, then you have to learn the skills of a wealth creator, and those skills means that you have to unlearn what is not the truth. In other words, accurate thinking. Years later, I read a book by Napoleon Hill, and he refers to it, I think it's the 16 laws of success or something like that. But he refers to this thing as accurate thinking. And there's a law, the law of accurate thinking, or the law of truth. And this is what and this is a lifelong process. I've dedicated my life in 1983, and I said that for the rest of my life, I'm going to find out what is the truth. And the truth, it seems to me, is something that you get to a point, and then there's a next level, and then you get to that and you understand that, and then there's the next level. So it's not something that is going to become like this. And I think the universe wants to test us to see how serious are we to become successful. It's not going to give us success unless we want it, unless we desire it, unless we are serious about it, and unless we're prepared to put in the time and the effort in order to discover this. But this to me is surely one of the most amazing journeys that life could offer me. And this path that I'm on, this journey, this road map that I've set out is fascinating. Now, it took me many years from 83 to 87 to understand that what I believed to be the truth as a financial planner wasn't the truth, and that there's something else that the system tries to hide from us. And this is the reason why I'm doing what I'm doing, is to tell people that, listen, everyone can get 60% or 60.22%. It is possible. But there are two parts to it. There's the theoretical part, and then there's a practical part. But then there's another side to it, and that's the mind. And that's got nothing to do with the practical application and the doing of stuff, because the mindset controls 40% of your success. Your environment controls 50% of your success, and the steps that we need to take, the skills that we need to acquire, is only 10%. So if you look at this map and the roadmap and the power morphing, you're going to find that it is, in my case, about 95% of my makeup, and what I'm working on has got nothing to do with the skills. The skills is actually very simple, because it's a set of rules, it's a blueprint, and all you do is you follow the blueprint. But you will never follow that blueprint unless you fix yourself first, your mindset. So if you are interested in that, please let me know, and please tell me, and I'll see what I can share with you, and in order to be able to help you. I'm still going to, this will be the mindset part, then I'm also going to teach you a little bit about the basics on the general, in terms of finances, and in terms of money, and in terms of wealth, and maybe even success. And then at the later stage we can start looking at the business and the investment structures and how it works, and the blueprints that I've built because of this journey that I'm at. So if you think that this is worth and something that you want to pursue, now please, if it's not, and then just tell me honest, this is bullshit, I don't want to do it, I don't want to put in the time and the effort to learn, I don't want to improve myself, I don't want to grow, I want to violate the basic human needs that we've got, and that is growth and contribute. I don't want to contribute to my family, I don't want to contribute to myself, I don't want to contribute to society, but at least have the guts to tell me. And don't come, yeah, I want that, but you want it, and by sitting on your ass and you think life is just going to happen. So to me, it is real. To me, it's my life. And to me, it is hard work. But I'm enjoying this journey because I'm discovering on a day-to-day basis how great we are. I mean, I'm dealing with tons of people and lots of people, and each and every time that they make this discovery that they can change their destiny, that they are in control of their future, that they can leave a legacy, it's amazing. It's absolutely, it's amazing. And I think this is what I really and truly want to give to you. And that gift is basically the start of the journey. And I'd like to walk that journey with you, that path, be on that road, and measure those milestones. And I think that is what I wanted to say this morning. I don't know when I'm going to post this and if I'm going to post it, but if I do, then just give me a feedback. And so thanks for your time. I hope that this will be the beginning of an incredible journey, and that it's going to take you to where you want to be, and that is to have that success that you were born with. You know, we were born to have a life of abundance. We were born to be great. We were born to have everything, to thrive. But our mindsets, this reticular activated system, those little programs that we are running, that is what keeps us from having everything that we desire, that we're entitled to a certain extent, because that's our birthright, and that we then keep away from ourselves.